Playboy and SPEC. We gonna get into my favorite segment, man, and that's called Have You Heard? Basically, I take some headlines that just happened big in the news and see if you heard. The co-founder, Jann Wenner of Rolling Stone, he wrote a book recently. I believe it was called The Masters, where he spoke to Bob Dylan, Jerry Garcia, Mick Jagger, John Lennon, Bruce Springsteen, Peter Townsend, and Bono of U2. All those individuals, white males.
Yeah.
He was having an interview, I believe, with the New York Times, and was asked, why you guys so many? I don't know. Sometimes I think about the questions, and I'm like, were they hoping? Were they hoping for this response? They were like, we could see that, it's a lot of white males, basically, and we know the contributions that women and African Americans, Hispanics, people of all cultures and creeds have donated to music. So why did you necessarily leave them out? His response was, basically, they aren't as articulate to describe, basically, for what he wanted to say. And when he got pushback...
So what was this meeting about?
So his book, it was basically, he wrote a book where he spoke to just different musicians about just their philosophy on music, what music means to them, what they felt they brought to music. Obviously, Jerry Garcia's passed away. John Lennon's passed away. So this was at the time when he got to speak to them, just bringing what he feels like they brought to the game of music.
Okay.
From a philosopher. I guess he wants to say from a philosopher type of level. But basically, he was like, they aren't articulate enough. And then when he got pushback on it, he said, it's not that they are inarticulate, although go have a deep conversation with Grace Slick or Janis Joplin. Please be my guest. Joni Mitchell was not a philosopher of rock at all. She didn't, in my mind, meet the test. Of black artists, Stevie Wonder is a genius. I suppose when you use a word as broad as masters, the fault is in using that word. Maybe Marvin Gaye or Curtis Mayfield. I mean, they just didn't articulate at that level. And then, so kind of he goes on really to say, I guess I could have put a woman in or a man in and it would have avoided this. He's like, but that's not really what he wanted to do. And he just didn't feel like they met the criteria that these other particular artists. Now, it made me really think, he should be allowed, as a white man, if he wants to write a book about all white men, he should be allowed. I think where he fucked up here is, why would you respond like that when asked about it? Bro, you could have said anything. You gonna say you don't think they're articulate enough? You just sound crazy, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bad response. I have no problem with who he chose to do that's his prerogative. Mm-hmm. I don't have to have a diverse group of people.
Right, about all black males, right? If you wanted to, right?
And so there's nothing wrong with his choice and people he wanted to talk to. Mm-hmm. The response, the reasoning, it could have been better. That was just a horrible response.
That's just crazy.
But, him just not wanting to have a diverse group, I'm completely fine with that.
So he's since been removed from the board of directors of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foundation. And he's offered an apology. That's what he has to do at this point. He's trying to sell a book. But no, to your point,
he just should have said that. I didn't want to. These are the people that I wanted to talk about, and left it at that.
Why would you say they're not?
Because nobody can dispute. That's what I wanted to do.
Also, these were stoners. You telling me they're the most articulate people, philosophers on the planet that make music?
Well, in the pushback to that will be, when you are a stoner, you do have a different viewpoint. And
I'm saying stoner to be polite. This is on psychedelics.
I've never had a psychedelic or spoken to somebody on psychedelics.
I'm not saying that they're less smart. I'm saying articulation is is really what you're gonna go with, and that these are rock and roll. They're rock and roll. They party. These are some of the biggest parties of all time. We know that. You know what I'm saying? So it's you can't. I get it. You didn't want to talk to no one else. Yeah, you ain't want to talk to the. You ain't want to talk. Which you should. I'm listening to a book right now that's what do they call them? Affirmations. And basically, it's affirmations directed to black males.
Okay.
So there's some things that they say in the book about being a black male. And being proud of being a black male, that I was like, if this was a white version of this book, this might be real uncomfortable to listen to. Because you're cool to say I'm black and I'm proud, right? Like I got a shirt that says Black Excellence. Mm-hmm. If I saw somebody wearing White Excellence, it'd be a head scratcher, right? No,
that'd be a problem.
Every time I'm like, yo, there's no reason why a white man shouldn't be able to listen to the white person version of this, what I'm listening to. But it would sound like he's the wildest white supremacist if he listened to this in his car or some crazy shit because somebody be. So it's like I do feel. Today's white man is paying for the crimes of yesterday's white man. So I could feel a little bit bad for them in that respect. But also just know how to answer these questions because you got a target on your back. Just know how to answer that, bro. Like you should have had one like in the bag, like, yo, these are the greats. Like, you know, you should have just turned it into how great those niggas are, not how whack other people who are not in the book are. Because now you just look wow. You did like that's.
But you did right, not to change the topic, but you know how you can rock a Black Excellence shirt, but let somebody white rock a White Excellence, and it's gonna be a problem.
That's a real problem. Yeah.
That in itself is a problem that somebody can't do that.
Yeah.
Like we want to talk about equality and all of this stuff. Yet if somebody did some of the things that we'll do as black people, it will be a problem.
But I think that's why you have to teach the history, because to let's say a white man born 20 years ago, he was born in the year 2003, right? He's like, why is he allowed to do that but I'm not? Whereas we know we were born 20 years before that, so we know a black person is allowed to do that because for 400 plus years they were looked down as the other. They were held down systematically, socially, you know what I'm saying? So now it's like, oh yeah, let them rock. You know what I mean? That's why we have to say statements like Black Lives Matter, because it doesn't mean Black Lives Matter more than yours. It means Black Lives Matter too. Also, like, stop shooting us. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop. So it's like we can say things like that. White Lives Matter. But you should be able to say that, but it sounds crazy. but why? Because we know the history behind it.
I don't like those labels at all. Cause I'm a person. There's space for everybody. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to hear black this, white this. I don't give a fuck what color your skin is. Like I just feel like we'll never get to a place of because I feel it's just gonna constantly keep going like this. Right? Like we're in the space where, okay, it's black this, black this, black that. And let's just say the white man's left out. What do you think is going to happen eventually? It's going to shift.
Have to shift because now he's been held down for so long.
And then we're back and forth. Like it's just.
No, he should be allowed to write with a book about whoever he wants to write about. Like, I do. Because, you sound like the ill neo-Nazi when you just, like, if you were just proud of being just white. It does sound crazy, like, and I do feel bad for them in that respect.
He didn't even make it a race or a gender thing. He just said they not articulate. That's a people thing.
he just generalized all of them. He's like, no, all of them. They just not articulate. And he started naming. He doubled down, started naming specifics. But you got to know that's why I get so mad when they don't want to teach kids the history in Florida or some crazy shit. Because I was talking to my girl the other day, right, and she went to a school where I guess that the mascot was a Native American or whatever the case may be, the school name or the thing. So they had to change like some imagery around the school,
right.
And she didn't really understand why. And I had to like break it down. Well, the Redskins had to change their name to Commanders because Redskin is a disrespectful name, right? Or the Indians had to change their name to the Guardians because they had that logo where it was like a super disrespectful logo, right? But even that is like, I had to like break down. Well, it's offensive because he's smiling. Look how big his teeth is. Look how, you know what I'm saying, like crazy the mascot. That was the mascot for years. You know what I'm saying? Like all through our childhood, we had to see that. And I remember when Bomani Jones, when he worked on ESPN, wore a shirt, I think on Mike and Mike or something like that, that said Caucasians. And it was the same logo with blonde hair and just white features. And people like lost their mind that he like wore that on national TV. And I'm like, but you got no problem with the Indians. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, just because you haven't come across as many of them, you know what I'm saying? Like, Monique was allowed to make jokes about skinny women that were mean, right? Because it's like, well, Monique probably got made fun of because she's big. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, let her rock, kind of. But it's like, it doesn't come across the same way if a skinny woman would have come out and start cracking on fat bitch. Like, yeah. You're like, yo,
she's gonna be ridiculed.
Yeah, exactly. You wilding right now. You punching down, they call it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But I think that's only what's going to happen. That's just what's going to... It's going to be a shift where it's going to be like, yo, it's kind of foul. But teach the history. Because it's like, I think as niggas get older, we about to turn 40. I'm into history now on some nerd shit. Like I want to know about JFK. I want to know about like they shot a president on TV. Like you know what I'm saying? That's some real shit. But we don't get taught that at all. At all.
I mean, I just don't. I'm not gonna say I don't know. It's sad. Like why? At the end of the day, you know, we're all human beings. You know, we all have. You cut us. You know, we're all gonna bleed the same color. It's just like there's a lot of nonsense for no reason. Like literally because the color of somebody's skin. Like, how does that change anything?
Nah, I feel you on that.
That shit is so fucking. It's stupid. It's a waste of time. Like I can go on, but it's just like. Because we're going to just keep repeat. It's a cycle. We're just going to keep repeating it. It's just going to be a different group of people.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. I feel the same way. Like, you see it now with like Michael B. Jordan is like an example, but it's a thing. It's a trope to make fun of the black guy who dates the white girl. It's like, you know what I'm saying? But we're just humans. It's just humans, you know what I'm saying? Or you see a black girl with a white guy, like, she found love. Right. She found, like, who cares? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's easy to crack on them. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to make a thing, but I get it gets a little bit too caught up in all of that.
I don't want to be OJ and like I don't see color because obviously we see color.
Yeah.
But it's just like what
move
the
past
fuck?
It, right?
Like who cares what color your skin is? Like
you'd be surprised, motherfuckers care. Still to this day, yeah.
They do.
Perfect Talk is what it do, man. Thank you for checking out this Perfect Talk short clip. But go check out the full episodes right there on the YouTube channel, man. Subscribe, hit that like button, baby.
Perfect.